Kirwan's Game Store, the best place in gaming.
Some of you guys may recognize Joseph Bogley. He's a former World Championship competitor, placing 6th in the North American World Championship Qualifier in 2011. And he did play in the World Championships in Amsterdam in that same year. I do not know how he placed, but I will be able to get that for you. I do not know what anybody is playing at this moment, so once the match starts, I'll be able to get that for you guys as well, as I'm sure you all will be able to figure it out. I have Joseph Bogley here on our left in the red shirt, and I have Matthew Nestico on the right in the gray hoodie. So they run the dice roll. I don't know who got the roll to go first, so here we go with the match. If you guys have any comments or anything, please feel free to drop those in the chat. And it looks like Matthew's going to start us off. So far all I can see is Dark Hole and MST in his hand, and it looks like Matt's going to set MST and pass, and play's going to go over to Joe, and let's see what Joe does. Joe has a set monster, and does Joe have any other follow-up play? Nope. Play is going to go back to Matthew here. Can't really make out what's in his hand right here, so I'm going to take this time just to, welcome everybody back to the live stream. Okay, it looks like we have I believe that is Onslaught of the Fire King, which is if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon I believe it's a fire type monster from your deck, level 4 or lower. No, fire type beast, wing beast, or beast warrior from your deck, and it looks like you summoned Fire King Yaksha, which is a very cool card for the Fire King archetype. It allows when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it destroys a card in your hand or on field, and he chooses to use its effect in the end phase to destroy an in-hand Garunix, special summoning it during the next standby phase. And what Garunix does is when it was destroyed by a card effect, it's special summoned during the next standby phase, and it allows you to destroy all monsters on the field upon its special summon. So it looks like Joe has had his Ghost Trick monster destroyed, and it's Ghost Trick Jiangshi destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Joe just followed it up with an Upstart Goblin and a set monster and passed. So definitely looks like we've got a very interesting matchup here. I'm not sure if this is the recently popular Ghost Trick Madolche or a pure Ghost Trick deck, so we're about to find out. And I'm unsure what that card was. Joe kind of placed it off the camera there. So, but it looks like Garunix just destroyed the monster, and oh, okay, I see what happened here. We had a Garunix circle for circle. Okay, we had a circle of the Fire Kings, which is just destroy a face-up fire monster you control, special summon a monster from your graveyard. And we have Dark Arm Dragon being summoned to Joe's side of the board here. Play is going at a very frantic pace right now. And he banished second Jiangshi from his graveyard to destroy Matthew's set MST. And now it looks like Joe is contemplating his next move here. So it looks like it's pure Ghost Trick versus the Fire King matchup here. This is definitely a very interesting matchup. One I did not expect to see, but it's definitely something that's going to be very fun to watch. So I hope you guys are tuned in and watching. And if you're tuned in and watching, I hope to God that you'll be able to share the link to the stream to all your friends and get them watching as well, because you've got a former World Championship competitor playing in this match. And right now it looks like Dad went to destroy the Garunix or the back row. I believe he targeted the face down Generation Shift, which Matthew chained to destroy Garunix, and added another Garunix from his deck to his hand, which is going to, and Generation Shift is a very cool card because it is going to trigger Garunix's effect. So whatever Joe's going to put on the board here, it's going to have to be able to survive through Garunix's Dark Hole-like destruction effect. So he follows that destruction up with a Tour Guide summon, which is going to summon another level 3 Fiend from his deck, which is another copy of Tour Guide of the Underworld. And let's see if Joe has any follow-up plays for that right there. Alright, so it looks like he's going to just go right to his battle phase and he's going to attack. Tour Guide definitely gets in there. I'm not sure. I believe everybody attacked. I'm not entirely sure. I know at least one of the tour guides attacked. And then he's going to stack right into a Ghost Trick Alucard, which actually has a lot more applications in the Ghost Trick for the Ghost Trick deck as opposed to any other. We saw Ghost Trick Alucard in our last match. We're using its effect to target a face down card and destroy it. Now here comes Garunix in the standby phase, destroying all monsters on the field, and that's going to leave a nice clear field for that Garunix to attack. Okay, we did. I got the damage here. All 3 monsters attacked for a total of 4,800, which is going to drop Matthew down to 4,200 because of the Upstart Goblin. It would normally be dropped down to 32 from full. And the Garunix came out and it wiped the board. And then there was another Garunix engraved that was waiting to trigger. So when that one came out, it destroyed the other Garunix, which is actually pretty much what the Fire King deck wants to get going. Because what will happen is with 2 Garunixes waiting to trigger, every turn it'll be destroyed, and every turn it will be another dark hole. So it creates a very hard hard field. It's very hard to establish a field knowing that every turn there's going to be a dark hole style effect. So it looks like Matthew is going to follow up with a tanky. Fire Formation Tanky, searching for the Fire King High Avatar Barong, and he's going to declare attack with both. And it looks like that's going to be 27 and 1900, so that's going to be 4,600 damage, dropping Joe down to 3,400. And then, how did we just, okay. Oh, okay, I see what it is. Play pass back to Joe, and then that's when the Garunix is cycled again, destroying the Barong. Now what Barong's going to do for you is it's going to allow him to search for a card in the next standby phase after it was destroyed. So Joe is going to follow up the Garunix cycle with Crane bringing back Tour Guide. Now let's see where he goes here with this play, because I'm not too familiar with the Ghost Trick deck, so all of this is going to be very new to me. So he's going to bring out a Levier, detaching Tour Guide, getting Zhang Shi, and he's going to use Zhang Shi's effect to flip itself face down. That's the one thing all the Ghost Tricks have. Like the Gear Armor we saw in the last matchup, all the Ghost Tricks have the ability to flip themselves face down, or put themselves face down. So now Matthew's going to draw for his turn, and then I believe he's going to use his Barong's effect to now search. Yep. And I believe he also has a Garunix engrave waiting to come out and cycle the board. So we're going to see if that's the case here. Yep. Okay. So yeah, Garunix comes out and destroys the field, and then during the next turn it's going to happen. So when a Ghost Trick, it looks like he special summoned Joseph special summoned Ghost Trick Spectre now. Spectre, I believe, is when a Ghost Trick monster you control is destroyed, you can special summon this card in face down defense position. It's it's a very good defensive option for the deck, which is a very slow paced control deck. So it definitely allows him some sort of a defense against the high 2700 attack of Garunix. So it looks like Matt is going to check the graveyard here to see what the situation looks like. He's got a very full hand. I can't really tell what's in it, and he's going to summon a High Avatar Fire King Yaksha, and he's going to play Rekindling, special summoning another Yaksha and a Barong. Now Rekindling lets you special summon any number of fire monsters from your graveyard with 200 defense. So he chose to special summon the Yaksha we saw destroyed early on in the game, and the Barong we just saw destroyed a couple of turns ago. This is going to really allow him the ability to take control of this match and possibly even win it here, depending on what he's able to do with the monsters that he has on board. It looks like he's going to proceed right to the battle phase. And then when Spectre was destroyed, Joe had another Spectre to follow it right up. Let's see if there's a third. The second Spectre was destroyed, so now we're going to have Yaksha declare attack. And Ghost Trick Mary is going to trigger here. So let me see if I can get Ghost Trick Mary's effect for you, because I do not have that on hand. Ghost Trick, the Ghost Trick deck really relies on its ability to play defense here. So Ghost Trick Mary's effect was activated, and that's going to allow Joe another defense, which is going to be able to prevent being killed this turn, and it might allow him the ability to come back in this matchup. I'm going to grab this right here for you. Let's see what we got. Ghost Trick Mary says, cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghost Trick. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense. When you take battle damage, you can discard a card and special summon one Ghost Trick monster from your deck in face down defense position. So when he took the damage from the Garunix, I believe he took the damage from the Garunix, or no, he took the damage from the from the second Yaksha. That allowed him to be able to activate Mary and special summon a Ghost Trick from his deck. And now play pass back to Joe, and that's going to allow the Garunixes to cycle once more. Joe's going to play the MST on the only face down Matt had, which was just a Malevolent Catastrophe, which is kind of like a Heavy Storm, but you can only activate it when your opponent declares an attack. Alright, so Joe Bogley follows up the MST with the Dark Creator coming out of Phantom Darkness, which is if you have 5 or more dark monsters in your grave, you can special summon Creator from your hand. And he looks like he followed it up. Was that Beginning of the End from the same set? Beginning of the End says if you have 7 or more dark monsters in your grave, you can banish 5 of them to draw 3 cards, which is a really powerful card. It saw a lot of play back in the day. And oh, Joe followed up his Creator play with another Creator. So he used Creator's effect to bait out any kind of an effect, and then he brought out Creator with Creator, and this is definitely going to allow him the ability to reestablish a board presence here. So he banished to summon, and that's going to create game. So it looks like Joe Bogley in a very explosive play for a deck that most people would consider very slow paced. He went from looking like he was down and out to winning game 1. So while they side, I'm going to give you guys a commercial, and I will see you guys right after that.
If you're a gamer and looking for a hot new place with a friendly atmosphere to have some fun, get to Kirwan's Game Store.
This place has more things in one place and cleanly organized, which is very important than anywhere that I've been.
What I like most is that I can come here, and I come here 2 or 3 times a week, and I just make so many friends here.
Check out KirwansGameStore.com for upcoming tournaments. Kirwan's Game Store in Catskill, the best place in gaming.
Alright guys, I am back, and looks like Joe and Matt are done siding for game 2. So they're going to shuffle up their decks, and we're going to get right moving. So we're going to see what Ghost Tricks have for the Fire King matchup, and we're going to see what the Fire Kings have for Ghost Tricks here. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the Fire Kings as they've been out for quite a long time. But when it comes to Ghost Tricks, they're still pretty unfamiliar to me. They only recently just got a lot of their support out of the. They started out of Shadow Specters, which was only the set before last, and they recently got a little bit more support out of Legacy of the Valiant. but it's still a fairly new deck. I would say it's probably about six months old, roughly. So it's a deck that's still in its infancy, but it definitely has a lot of potential if it gets some more help. Definitely reminded a lot of people when they originally saw and heard about a lot of the cards. It definitely reminded people of a deck from years ago that used to be called Pac-Man, which relied on playing heavy defense and using cards like Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts to control the field by flipping themselves up and down. Alright, so we're here in game 2, and it looks like Matt's going to start us off. And let's see if Matt has any plays. Alright, we're going to open up with a Fire Formation Tanky, which is going to allow him to search his deck for a level 4 Beast Warrior and add it to his hand. And then as long as Tanky remains up on the field after that, it's going to give any Beast Warrior he controls an extra 100 attack points. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. It looks like he summoned Fire for King Yaksha, and he set 3.
Alright, yeah, it says round.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like he summoned Yaksha, set 3, and he passed. And Joe has 3 sets, and then he summoned a Tour Guide. Tour Guide's effect is going to activate after he played an Upstart Goblin. Sorry about that. Just had to try and see if I can fix. I'm getting comments that there is a volume issue. Is anybody having any trouble with that? And it looks like he's summoning another copy of Tour Guide. And he summoned Ghost Trick Alucard. Let's see if there's any response. It looks like Matt's going to respond with a Bottomless Trapple on the Alucard. That's going to send the Alucard out of play, and it's going to send the Exceed materials to the graveyard. So play is going to pass back to Matt, and he's going to draw for his turn. Looks like Matt's just comfortable and not really committing much to the board and attacking with the Yaksha directly. So that's going to knock Joe's life points down to 6,100. Joe looks like he just drew a monster and he set it. Alright. And the monster appears to be Jiangshi. Chain Dust Tornado to the skill drain there definitely is going to prevent his deck from a potential blowout situation, because skill drain has that ability when it's flipped face up, it'll negate the effects of all monsters on the field. In a deck like Fire Kings, where all their effects are going to activate in the graveyard, it's going to totally dodge the negating effects of skill drain. So that's definitely a real blowout card for most of the matchups they're going to see. The only other deck that will see a lot of play that probably will not be affected by that is any kind of a ruler deck. Alright, so he follows up that play with a Crane for Tour Guide, using Jiangshi's effect to flip himself face down, and he's going to use Crane's effect to bring back Tour Guide, which is going to allow him to get another Alucard. Using Alucard's Detach effect to target one of the set cards. It looks like he's targeting the one in the middle. And that card is Generation Shift, which we saw in Game 1, which helped get the Garunix combo going. He's going to use that to destroy the Yaksha, and that's going to let him search another copy of Yaksha out of his deck, and that's going to force the destruction of Yaksha, which is going to allow him to destroy a card in his hand or on his field. He's going to destroy Barong, so now in the next standby phase, Barong is going to grant Matthew a search. Let's see if Joe has any other follow-ups here. Doesn't look like he does, so play is going to pass back to Matt, and he's going to activate his Barong's effect to search. And then he's going to activate Onslaught of the Fire Kings, which is going to allow him to search for the Garunix out of his deck. And then in the end phase, it'll destroy the Garunix, which will get the Garunix rolling. now it appears all he needs now is to be able to get another Garunix online and looping with it, and then he'll be able to get the same loop he had going after round and going on in game 1 there. So he's going to declare the attack with Garunix on the Alucard. It's 2,700 over 19, and that's going to trigger his Joe's Ghost Trick Mary. So Joe's going to lose 900 life points, dropping himself down to 5,200. And he's going to use Mary's effect to special summon a Ghost Trick from his deck. I did not see which one it was. It flipped pretty fast, so I will find out as soon as it flips face up. Let's see if Matthew has any follow-ups here for the activation of Mary, if anything in main phase 2. Okay, we've got a main phase 2 summon, a fire Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. Now what that's going to grant him is he can send a fire formation spell trap to destroy a monster in our field, and he's going to destroy the set Jiangshi, which was set off of Mary. And then Bear has the effect if it's okay. So when play passed over to Joe, in this Joe standby phase, Matt tried to activate his Garunix, and Joe had the set debunk, which negates the effect of the monster activating and banishes it from play. So that's a pretty rough beat for Matthew, hoping to get the Garunix online, because that would definitely help him establish a better board presence. So Jiangshi flip summon to search for a Ghost Trick out of deck, and then he follows it up with an Allure of Darkness, which is going to allow him the ability to draw 2 and then banish a dark monster in his hand if he has any. And then he's going to follow that up with a Pot of Duality. Let's see what cards he gets. Okay, so it's Dark Creator, Upstart Goblin, and Ghost Trick Jiangshi. I apologize if the commentary isn't very very informative, in like the history of the deck or anything. I'm very unfamiliar with the Ghost Trick deck. I know roughly what they do, but a lot of it's going to be me Googling up effects, because this is still a fairly new deck to me and I haven't encountered it in play yet. So looks like Joe is going to put the Jiangshi face down with its own effect, setting 2 back rows and passing turn to Matthew. Matthew's going to draw for his turn, and let's see if he has anything to press the advantage here. He's definitely built himself a little bit of a lead here in the cards, but if Exciton Knight is any proof, card advantage is not something you can rely on to indicate how a match is going. It can swing literally with the summon of a single card, or the activation of a single spell trap. So let's see. He's definitely looking through his extra deck here, contemplating what he's going to do. That would mean I would figure maybe he's got another level 4, possibly Wolfbark, which was recently restricted to 1 due to its power. Okay, he has Call the Haunted, which is going to allow him a special summon from his graveyard. So let's see what he decides to bring out. Okay, Joe in response is going to activate Regeki Break, discarding a Dark Creator to destroy the Call the Haunted before it can resolve. So that definitely helped his cause, because once that monster would come out, he could have brought out a Barong or a Yaksha. He could have generation shifted it or used it in Bear to make an Exceed play to help further his cause. Let's see if Matthew's got anything to follow that. So he's going to set a card to his back row. Alright. And then play passed back to Joe, and Joe's going to flip to Jiangshi and search again. I believe he searched for a Mary. I did not quite catch that. So he's going to use Jiangshi's effect to put himself face down. Jiangshi is pretty much the Gear armor for this deck. It has the ability to tutor when it's flipped, and it has the ability to put itself face down. It's not as large as a Gear armor in terms of its defense, so it's a little bit of a smaller monster. Okay, Matthew's going to follow up on his turn with the normal summon of a Yaksha, and that's going to send him right into his extra deck here, debating on what his choices are. I don't know what I don't know what he could do right here. Tiger King, okay. Now, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King, when it succeeds him, is going to allow him to search for a fire formation and set it, and then pretty much he'll be able to activate it. So he's going to search for the tanky, activate the tanky, and use its effect to search for a beast warrior and add it to his hand. And because Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King is a beast warrior himself, he's going to get the 100 boost from the tanky. So, I mean, unless Matthew's really fearing what that back row could be, I almost would expect him to try and maybe attack through the Jiangxi, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So he's going to attack the Jiangxi, and Jiangxi's going to trigger its effect again, allowing Joe to get another card in advantage. And that's going to get him Ghost Trick Mary, which will allow him more defense when Mary triggers. And there is the Spectre, which I believe he searched on a previous turn. So he now has another defender on the field, just creating almost a little annoying wall to have to try and get through. So play pass back to I believe play pass back to Joe after the attack. So Joe is right now looking through his graveyard trying to figure out what he's going to do. Maybe he has another Dark Creator he wants to summon, because we definitely saw he plays more than one, which is actually a very good card for a deck like this where you can put monsters in grave. Okay, it looks like he was checking his grave for a dark monster count for beginning of the end. So like I said before, that's gonna let him banish 5 dark monsters if he has 7 in grave, and then he's gonna be able to draw a bunch of cards and to just create more of an advantage and hopefully draw an out to the field that stares him down. So let's see if he drew anything that's gonna help advance his position here. So let's see, maybe we'll see a, okay, I thought he was going to set a bunch of cards. Okay, so we have a Mind Crush being activated when he drew the cards. So he's going to Mind Crush, and let's see what's called. I believe he declared the Dark Creator, I'm not sure. Let's take a look. I'm waiting for confirmation from the judge at the table to see what was actually declared for the Mind Crush. So once I have that for you guys, I'll definitely get that to you. So it looks like the Mind Crush did the Mind Crush work? The Mind Crush did work, because once I believe it was on the Dark Creator. I have to assume that's what it was, because the Dark Creator was on top of the graveyard, and when the Mind Crush was activated, there was 2 cards in Matt's hand, and there still is 2 cards. Alright, so we got a Dark Arm Dragon drop, and that's going to start targeting the back rows, which is allowing Joe the ability to play a little bit more aggressively now that he knows that there's no face-down traps that are going to impede his progress. So we're going to see the Summon of Mary, and that's going to bring out, I think that's Ghost Trick Dullahan. Let me see if I can get that effect for you guys, and then I'll definitely... And that's their rank 1 exceed, and here it is. I got it right here for you guys. Ghost Trick Dullahan pretty much says it gains 200. It's 2 level 1 monsters for the exceed summon, and it gains 200 attack for each Ghost Trick you control. So it starts out at 1,000, and I believe it's going to gain 200 for itself. So it's going to start at 12, and then during either player's turn, you can detach a material once per turn to target one face-up on the monster on the field and half that monster's attack. And until you do that until the end phase. And if it's sent to the grave, you can target another Ghost Trick in your grave and add it to your hand. So that's going to allow him to be able to clear larger monsters. Alright, so play passed back over to Matt now, and Matt turned his bear to Matt used his wolf bark to bring back his bear, which is going to allow him rank 4 exceed play. So let's see what Matt's going to do here. You know, having Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear in a deck like Fire Kings is actually not a bad play, because you can use Bear as kind of like an out to cards that are hindering your condition. So Let's see what he decides to bring out. I think that's one of the new cards that just came out of the last release we got. And that's going to be a Heartland Draco out of the Premium Gold series. Is that what he's going to? Nope. Okay, he's still deciding here. He's staring down a 1200 attack Ghost Trick Dullahan and a 2800 attack Dark Arm Dragon. So he definitely has to really think about what he's going to try and do here. And I did just get confirmation from my judge the Mind Crush was on Dark Creator. So that was the case. I apologize for the delay on that. So he did summon the Heartland Draco. I believe that. Yeah. The glare on that. Yep, that is Heartland Draco. So what Heartland Draco is going to do is it's a 2000 attack monster. And it's going to, I believe it detaches to allow itself to attack directly. Let me get the effect for you here. Alright, so, okay, so while I'm getting that, let's see what Matt's still doing. Matt has rekindled for 3, and that's going to bring back 2 Yakshas and a Barong. That pretty much just opened the game wide up. No responses on Joe's side. Really makes me wonder if maybe he's either got some bluffs down or if he thinks that he can try and lead Matt right into something like a Mirror Force. So let's see what happens here. Are we gonna follow? Are we gonna see an Exceed play here, or are we gonna see a? Okay, it looks like we're gonna see a Barong and a Yaksha get overlaid into an Exceed monster. Okay, here we go. I got it right here. I got Hartland Draco now, so I'll be able to give that effect to you guys. For those of you who haven't seen it or haven't had a chance to play against it or with it yet, Hartland Draco is a Earth Exceed monster, 2000 attack, 1500 defense, and it only takes 2 level 4, so it's a generic. And while you control a face-up spell, it can't be targeted by attacks, and it cannot be targeted right now because Matt controls Tanky. And once per turn, you can detach a material to allow this card to attack your opponent directly, but your opponent cannot, or your other monsters cannot attack. So we've now seen the 2 Fire King monsters, Barong and Yaksha. They were overlaid into a number 101 Silent Honorarch, which stole the Dark Arm Dragon. Now, he did not detach to allow it to directly, so he looks like he attacked Dullahan. Okay, so Joe took look how did okay, I think we might have had a misplay, but I'm going to double check that for you because it looks like the Heartland Draco attacked directly and then without detaching, and then it okay, I'm gonna look into that for you because I think we might have had I think we've had a misplay. Okay, so let me adjust the life here just in case there's something I'm missing. I'll adjust the life to account. So Joe is now down to 600 life points. Okay, I think Joe is reading it now because it... Okay. So let's see if Joe has any follow-up here. Looks like he might have used Mary's effect to set right from his deck. Alright, so I don't see any follow-up so far. Okay, here we go. Joe is going to press the advantage here and activate a set Reckless Greed, following it up with an Upstart Goblin. That's going to give Matt another 1,000 life points, bumping him up to 9,000. And now Joe has to skip his next 2 draw phases. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, we have another Reckless Greed flip. So that's 2 Reckless Greeds and an Upstart on this turn. Joe is really digging for answers here because he's put in a really bad spot. And then the Pot of Duality is followed up, and that's going to reveal another Reckless MST and Debunk. And at this point, considering you're skipping your next 2 draw phases, there's nothing left to do but to take the Reckless Greed, because the Reckless Greed draw phase skips, they don't stack, they overlap one another, so you don't skip 4 draw phases. You're going to skip the same 2 draw phases for each copy, so you're only going to, no matter how many copies of Reckless Greed you're going to activate, you're only going to end up skipping 2 draw phases. So it's pretty much, every Reckless Greed after the first is pretty much just going to draw you 2 cards for free, because you're not really getting punished. And we're going to see a Dark Hole, and then we're going to see a set 5 from Joe, and that's going to pass play right back to Matt. And I think Matt's getting ready to declare an attack on a face down monster. Let's see if Joe has any responses to that. He's got 5 cards down, so it'd be hard to imagine he doesn't. And he reveals Jiangxi, which is going to allow him to search once more. And that's going to trigger a Spectre, because Spectre will summon itself upon the destruction of a Ghost Trick monster and set itself. And then right in the end phase there's the Reckless, so that way he doesn't skip any extra draw phases. And then there's an MST also in the end phase, clearing out any unnecessary back row. So now he skipped the draw phase, and he's going to proceed to summon another, flip summon the set Spectre, summoning another one, creating Dullahan. Dullahan's effect is going to cut the attack in half, and it's going to knock it down to 1050. And I believe that's going to be 150 life points off of Matthew there, so let me put that on there. So that's going to knock him down to 8850. Let's see if Joe can find a way out of this. He's still got 3 set back rows. He just added a 4th after the MST Reckless. And Matt's just going to draw a card and set it. And the set card was an MST, so that's going to, leave a wide open field, which Dullahan... Oh, he used Downward Magician in main phase 2, so that means... And Downward Magician allows you in main phase 2 to overlay it over any rank 3 or lower monster. So he used Dullahan's effect to clear the Honor Arc, and then he used main phase 2 to stack to the Downward Magician. I did not catch that. So Matt's life points are dropping very fast. I've got Matt right now down to 3,300. And Joe is surely, I guess you could say he's tricking his way to a victory. The Summoner Barong, the set Barong was destroyed by a Torrential Tribute, triggered by the normal summon of Tour Guide. And then Joe reveals the Dark Creator, which is going to special summon another monster, and it's going to put lethal on board, and with nothing on the table for Matt to protect himself with, that is going to be the match. So we have Joe Bogley, a former World Championship competitor, 6th place in the 2011 North American World Championship Qualifier, competed in Amsterdam a month later that year. He comes here to the Catskill Regional at Kirwan Game Store, and he wins the match 2-0 against Matthew Nestico. And hopefully I'll be able to talk to him before the next round goes up. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a commercial. And I will check back with you all, hopefully, with Joe Bogley sitting next to me in the commentating booth. So until then, I will see you later. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Time is called, so this may be a little shorter than I'd like it to be, but I'd like to welcome Joe Bogley,
Hello.
who just won his feature match in round 2.
Yep.
So, Joe, why don't you give us some of your credentials? I mean, I touched on at great length about your 2011 run to 6th place in the North American World Championship qualifier and following a World Championship run. So why don't you give us any list of more of your credentials?
After that, I got top 64 at YCS Long Beach, the biggest YCS ever. And then I recently went 11-0 at YCS Atlanta, and I got top 8. And then at YCS Chicago, I got top 8 again. So.
Alrighty, awesome. I mean, that's fantastic. So I heard you were playing Fire Fist at the last event you topped, right?
Yep, at Chicago. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And today I see you're playing Ghost Tricks.
A
deck that literally I had like the least amount of knowledge trying. I definitely had a lot of time trying to figure out things you were doing. So what inspired you to play Ghost Tricks here today?
Honestly, like at the Syracuse Regional a couple weeks ago, I was still playing Fire Fist.
Yep.
I started 5-0, and then I started I got sick round 6, so I didn't really play the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
So I ended up dropping from that tournament, but I was still playing Fire Fist, like with the Trap Tricks engine mix. It's still a good deck, but a kid at my local pulled the Ghost Trick Mary in his pack, and I was like, all right, I want to read this card. So I read it, and I was like, this card's good. And then I looked at all the older Ghost Trick guys on Duel Network, and then I found out like Jeff Jones and Lucas Peterson, they made the Ghost Trick Spirit deck. I was like, hey, I'm not a fan of that, but it's cool. So I built like just a pure Ghost Trick deck with Dark Creators and Dark Arm.
Yep. I saw the Dark Creator. I thought that was a fantastic touch.
Yep.
Another card I saw that I thought was really an interesting idea, and you were putting a lot of work in with it, beginning and the end. I saw the first time I saw it, I actually called it Allure of Darkness, and then once I saw you starting to clear your grave, that's when it hit me. It's like, wait, that's beginning and the end.
Yep.
Now, just so that way we can refresh the memory for the audience, make sure my information wasn't incorrect. That's when you have 7 dark monsters or more in your grave.
Your
banish 5
draw
and draw
3.
3. Okay, so I did get that right. My memory was good there. So, like you said, you just saw Ghost Trick Mary.
Yeah,
that piqued your
it was
interest.
cool. Like the deck as a whole is really cool. Like they have like the field spell and like the trap cards. Like those are all like they're cool. Like it's a cool archetype. Like
now, I mean, do you play the field spell or?
I don't play any of that. I just play the standard Ghost Trick monsters: Mary, Spectre, Gianchi, and I play 1 Jack Frost.
1 Jack Frost, okay. I see like a lot of people when it comes to Ghost Tricks nowadays, they're splashing them in with Madolches. So
you can do that like the Trick or Treat deck.
Yep. I mean, so originally when I started seeing your Ghost Trick monsters, I figured I originally put you on that, but once I saw Spectre Spectre, I was just like, okay, I believe he's playing full-on Ghost Tricks.
Yep.
So I was definitely intrigued to see how you'd handle the Fire Fist or Fire King matchup right there.
Honestly, my opening hand, game 1, I don't know what I'm playing against, obviously. So my first 2 cards are 2 Dark Creators, and I was like, this is not a good start. And then I drew Dark Arm, and I was like, this is definitely not a good start. And his hand was just as bad. Like he told me he had 2 Garunixes, so his hand evened out to my band. So I got lucky in that part.
Yeah. So can we expect you at Detroit in a few months?
I'll be at Nationals. I'll definitely be at Nationals.
Are we gonna see you at the ARG event next weekend?
I will be at Virginia.
Awesome.
With the new cards coming out, I have no idea what I'm playing yet.
I was gonna say. I was just about to say that's gonna.
There's a lot of cool options. Like I've been testing Infernities with Soul Charge, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been testing that deck.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw that card, I actually put that right next to Infernity Barrier and said, I mean, it's Infernity Barrier with a 2,000 life point cost.
Get a free Archfiend.
So they've replaced the 2 Infernity Barriers
for 2
soul charges, and the deck will still run as just fine.
Even without Soul Charge, the deck is still good.
Oh yeah,
the deck is still really good.
Yeah, but the Soul Charges, like you said, it's second and third copies.
You can still end up with your 5 monster field and 5 back row, so you can still do it.
Yeah, so are you looking forward to that set, or are you afraid that maybe...
I'm looking forward to it because since the ban list wasn't as, great as we hoped, it's going to give more insight to the game because new cards and, new decks can be played. I'm just not a fan of all these great cards coming out. Like that card, Curry Bandit, like the Fire and Ice hands are both really good.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Comparable to Reborn Tengu.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can splash them in any deck. Like Fire, you can play them in Fire Fist, honestly. You can play those.
Do you have any ideas what you think will be the top deck post Primal Origins?
Post Primal.
Yeah, because once we get that, you're going to start seeing artifacts.
So
all
that'll
over
be
the
at
place.
YCS Philly, right?
Yep,
that's
going to be the first event, just like how Dragon of Legends is dropping right before Richmond. Any ideas or any projections?
I haven't honestly looked into the Primal Origins set. I just know the artifacts, the Sylvans, the Madolches. I just know about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to just say artifacts from all the hype I'm hearing. I mean, I hear it's good. I've never actually looked into it as much. Yeah. Sylvans, I guess, are gonna be good too. So.
All right. Hey, I look forward to having you
not a
down
problem.
here,
Thank
man.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully, you have a good run here
Yeah,
in the
I'll try.
tournament. Maybe get a top 8, get a nice mat.
That'd be cool.
I look forward to maybe hopefully seeing you again on the feature
Cool.
match here. I appreciate you coming
No,
down.
not a problem.
And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Everybody, this is Joe Bogley, former World Championship competitor, and he's currently 2-0
Yep.
in the regional event here today. So we'll wish him the best of luck. And round 3 is getting set to go up very shortly, so I'll let him go and get ready for his round.
All right.
And I will see you all when the round 3 goes up. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
No problem.